Good morning, friends, and welcome to the Volpe Creates Show, episode 44. I am Chris, joined by Pumpkin here on this lovely August 17th. It's a Monday. It is pouring down raining. You can see my hair is wet. I went to go on my morning walk, and I got caught in the rain. But I'm glad that you are all here. We got to adjust this. I hate how OBS pulls information. All right, try that out. Today I want to talk about it's funny how timing works, isn't it? I started playing some games this weekend with a friend, and we were playing some Vampire Survivors. Excuse me, which is a fun game. And then he was like, "Oh, we should totally play the whatchamacallit game." I was like, "I don't know what you're talking about." He's like, "We should play the game from the Until Dawn guys." I was like, "The Quarry?" And he's like, "Yeah, we'll play the Quarry," because they had played it once before. Hold on a second. Oh, baby wants to say hi now too. So I'd never played the Quarry. They had played the Quarry once, and so we're like, "All right, well, maybe we can play the Quarry together." And the Quarry has got a multiplayer mode, and you can set it up a couple different ways. But one of the ways that you can set it up is so that at all the decision points, there is where there's a vote, all the players get to vote, as well as the QuickTime events. When you have to do quick movements for the QuickTime events, all the players can participate. And depending on what most players choose, or if most players pass or fail the QuickTime events, then that impacts the story. So you get to kind of play it together. So since I was the one who never played the game, I was the one controlling the character, poking around, but they could all see kind of what I was doing through their screens, and they all got a chance to vote on stuff. So it was pretty cool, pretty fun, and we were sitting there when we were playing, and I remember playing Until Dawn. I played it with a friend. We just played a couch co-op. Literally we just play the game with, my friend sitting there. But we were having a good time. And it was just sort of reminded me, it's actually a surprisingly long game. We've done 2 sessions, and the session we did yesterday was I don't know, 5 or 6 hours long. So it's a pretty long game. What's the how long to beat on? Or maybe I should look it up. I think we're pretty close. Let's look it up. How long to beat the Quarry? 8 to 10 hours. Okay, so we got to be then within maybe an hour or two. But anyway, I just having this kind of moment with friends, it was particularly pretty awesome for me because, as I've mentioned, I've just recently lost my friend, and so my schedule, because I used to hang out with him all the time. I would be hanging out with him 20 to 40 hours a week, and now I just have these large blocks of time to fill. And there's not that there's a shortage of stuff to do, but when you kind of lose a part of your life like that, it's not just now I got an extra 10 hours, I'll go do something. It's you kind of have to be pulled into things a little bit, because otherwise you're just going to kind of sit and whatnot. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But we're having a good time. We're playing it. And I know Supermassive has been working on another series, like the Dark series or something. I haven't played that either, but I wanted to look up. Okay, well, what's Supermassive's next game? When are they doing their next Until Dawn, the Quarry style game? Because it'd be really fun to play it all together. And this popped up as I was searching for it. So this is a post from Supermassive Games from 5 or 6 days ago. "We have made the difficult decision to begin a redundancy consultation process, which we anticipate will result in the loss of up to 75 of our colleagues. This is a necessary step to help ensure the sustainability of the company. We know this will be an incredibly difficult time for everyone, and our priority throughout the process will be to provide support to all those impacted." So Supermassive is going to be suffering from layoffs. And, it really got me thinking, that's a shame. Maybe I'm a part of the problem. I didn't buy this game when it first came out. I didn't really, think it was a must buy for me. There were other things I was focused on, but I am glad that companies like Supermassive exist and that they are doing interesting game experiences that, others aren't doing in the sort of medium to AAA space. And I think it's a shame that we're losing a lot of that because the types of games that we're getting, and this is not something new, this has been happening for quite a while, probably 20, 25 years, to be honest. It's just now we're seeing a massive consolidation of these issues. But the thing is that the games industry, I even said it when I was playing. It's just like I love video games. Like the experiences you can create, the experiences we're having playing the Quarry as a group has just been great. It's been a lot of fun, and we are. I guess I'm afraid that we are entering into this space where the big games are just going to be some of the same over and over again. And the thing is, in the indie space, like there's amazing stuff. I've said this before. There are more amazing games out right now than like ever before that are coming out. And particularly if you're willing to go into the indie space, there's a lot of really, really great stuff. And so it's one of those things where you're kind of like, on the one hand, it feels bad that we are losing all of these larger studios, like they're really struggling. Excuse me, I don't know what's going on here, but there's a lot of cool indie experiences, but I think it's important for the medium to larger size studios to be there, to be pushing the boundaries, to be trying new ideas on a larger scale, in a way that indie studios just can't. Like there's what's the cool game, the Mecha Chameleon that came out that a lot of people are like jazzed about and it's made like a butt ton of money. Like it's a fun game, it's a cool game, but like it ain't a AAA looking game, right? And one of the things that I liked about the Quarry, even though there's obvious like Uncanny Valley stuff going on, but the game itself looks really cool. There's a lot of really beautiful environments. There's a lot of really great moments where the characters just look like worn and cool. Like they just look good. Like they look like they've been through the gauntlet on a horror movie, right? And I think that that's something we should be encouraging. But I understand that it's also hard because a game like The Quarry or Until Dawn, these games, for most people, you only play them once, because once you kind of know the gist of the story, it's all about navigating the story a little bit differently. And for a lot of people, like that's just not, they had the experience, they saw the movie, they don't need to see it again. And so folks like Supermassive, they find themselves in a really difficult position. Like, what should you charge for a game like The Quarry? And right now, I think it's on sale for like deeply discounted price. I want to say it's like $7 or $8 maybe. And it's cool that you can just download The Quarry. Like only one person has to purchase the game, and they have the the trial. So people can just download the trial. I ended up buying it for the $7 because I wanted I wanted to support them, and $7 for this game that I've been playing has been really great. Okay, The Quarry is $5.99 right now. Thank you. Thanks, Tom, in the chat. And, I like to support as best I can because I want companies like this to continue to exist. And The Quarry, as an experience, has been really cool. I might play it again just by myself. I don't know what it takes to platinum it, but I might play it again afterwards just to kind of see a little bit of the difference. But I want those larger experiences. And my worry with Supermassive is they're going to start spreading themselves too thin. Maybe it'll be good for them. Maybe they could just really focus on one title. But my belief is they'll probably focus on this Dark series, which, again, I've never played, but I've heard some of the newer ones, or at least the newest one, isn't that great. Like it went in a direction that I think a lot of people aren't super jazzed about. So I don't know. Tell me in the chat or in the description if you've played any of the whatever it's called, the dark. Let me look it up so I can actually be educated on this. Supermassive Dark Pictures. Okay, it's a series of standalone horror games. Okay, cool. So maybe I'll check those out and see if they're pretty cool. But it's maybe we're just entering into a new world where some of this technology, like again, I talk about this all the time because I think Clair Obscur is an amazing game made with a relatively small studio. So maybe it's one of those instances where we're going to start to see these 30 to 50 person studios capable of making AAA-esque titles, maybe as long as they keep their scope really tight. And if that's the case, like that would be pretty amazing to just have a studio that's capable of every couple of years, generating enough revenue. So every 2 or 3 years, it's putting out a AAA level, or at least a good level. I don't know if you consider The Quarry to be AAA or not. I think it's on the verge. Let's see what Google AI says. The Quarry is generally considered a AAA tier, or it's a high to mid tier AAA. Okay, yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, I mean, I think it's right on there. I mean, these distinctions like don't really matter that much. It's just for the point of conversation. I think it's important to be talking about having larger studios trying new things, and I don't know, like CD Projekt Red comes to mind as a studio that tries new, weird, big things. But a lot of the other studios, it feels like we're not seeing the exciting, interesting, mind-blowing stuff is generally coming from the smaller studios to the indie side of stuff, which again is not necessarily a bad thing per se, but it is a shame because I want to be able to play. I want to be able to see what the larger studios can do, because theoretically, the larger studios should be the ones that are capable of making like the really cool, mind-bending experiences. Control Resonance coming out, so I'm very curious what that is gonna look like from Remedy Games. But it's kind of like a monopoly a little bit. Like monopolies are the ones that theoretically should be capable of providing the best products, the best services at the lowest rate, because they control the market. They have access to economies of scale. They have access to all of the supply chain that would allow them to do that. But what inevitably happens is when you gain a monopoly, you start artificially inflating your prices because there's no competition, and you force the consumer base to purchase those. And I think the issue with the AAA games that are large studios is that the cost to produce these games just becomes so much that it disincentivizes them from taking risks. And ultimately, a lot of these studios who maybe want to do cool, interesting things are kept in check by their leadership, their investors, all that kind of stuff. And it's a shame because they're the ones that could be doing the really cool stuff theoretically. Think of something like Mass Effect, right? Like, BioWare was able to create a 3 series game RPG that if you played it all from start to end, and let's say did some of the side quests, but you're not a full completionist, it's probably going to take you 120 hours to complete all 3 games. Pretty good size, not giant, but each game is like 40 to 60 hours. So let's just say 120 to 150-ish if you're really kind of making sure you're doing at least all the major side quests. And Mass Effect did a lot of, besides the fact that the story, matriculated through all 3 games. So it was a cohesive narrative, which was really cool. we're just not going to see that kind of stuff in other games. And Mass Effect just did a lot of really cool stuff that there has never been. I mean, I guess I won't spoil it, but the ending of Mass Effect 2, that part that you have to go through and make a bunch of decisions on your crew and stuff, like, there, as far as I'm aware, at least as far as I've played, there's never been another game that has done that as well as Mass Effect did. And Mass Effect 2 came out in, what, 2011? Something like that? Mass Effect 2 release date. 2010. Okay. So that's kind of where we are. Just besides the story narrative, like, Mass Effect just did a lot of really cool stuff. And it was a big open RPG that allowed you to have a lot of character customization and relationship building and all sorts of stuff like that, right? I mean, I cannot think of anything happening right now. We'll put GTA 6 on the side because there's a chance that GTA 6 could just absolutely blow everybody's mind and do some amazing stuff. But we'll put that on the shelf for a second. The only game that I think is even trying to do something similar to that, and they haven't even really announced that they are, they've just kind of like hinted around at the edges, is the new Witcher trilogy, Witcher 4, 5, and 6 by, again, CD Projekt Red, trying to do cool stuff, right? So if Witcher 4, 5, and 6, which they've said from the release of 4, they are trying to get all of the games done within a 5-year period. So as soon as they release 4, they want to have 2 and 3 out within a 5-year period, which is that's a pretty big deal, right? Pretty big deal, considering how big the Witcher 3 is. You know, I don't know if they'll all be that size or not. Sorry, babies. Sorry. But, you know, the point here, going back to Supermassive, is I think we need more studios like Supermassive that are making specific types of games that are, you know, scratching a certain itch. And, you know, I guess the issue now, and what I worry about, and this keeps coming up, baby wants to go, so bye, baby girl, is that there are people and the sort of foundation of the gaming industry has changed, and there are people that kind of have their one game that they keep going back to. Oftentimes it's a live service game, Minecraft, Fortnite, World of Warcraft, etc. And there's nothing wrong with having those games that you love that you go back to them. The issue is if you're spending all your time on that one game, then you're not purchasing the other games, and then those games are not getting funding to continue to be remade. And the other issue is generally the folks making those games. Look at the 3 I mentioned: Minecraft, owned by Microsoft; Fortnite, owned by Epic; World of Warcraft, owned by Activision Blizzard, which is also owned by Microsoft. So all of these games, these big games that people are coming back to, at least the 3 that I mentioned here, they're all owned by these giant conglomerations, these giant businesses. And mostly that has to do with the fact that these things are expensive to make and they're expensive to maintain. And so if you're spending your money on those games, then you're not spending them on games like The Quarry or whatnot. And again, I'm not saying you have to. Everybody's entitled to go purchase the product that they want. But there is a impact on the industry when only a few select set of games are being purchased, and then studios like Supermassive are going to have to cut down. And I don't know what Supermassive is working on. I hope that they are working on something cool along the lines of The Quarry, because I think that The Quarry, as it's slower for sure than Until Dawn, but I think, at least from the experience I've had thus far, and let's look up, out of just curious, let's look up Metacritic scores while we're here. The Quarry, if I could spell right. Okay, let's see. Until Dawn holds a score of 79, and The Quarry holds a score of 79. Okay, so looks like they are. Anyway, I think the Quarry seems better constructed as a story, as a narrative, than Until Dawn does. And it's at least giving the impressions that the decisions that you are making kind of have a little bit more weight to them. So I guess we'll check back in when I finish. We're going to try to finish it, I think, on this Wednesday, so in a couple of days. But I don't know. Recommendation here. Join me on Volpe Creates Game Club. We play a new game every month, and that is our opportunity to play a lot of interesting, neat stuff that kind of slips through the cracks. This month's game is called Gris, which I did not realize when I got it is a game about grief, apparently, which I guess fits in considering I lost my best friend 2 weeks ago. So maybe it's the game I need to be playing right now. But I will say that so far I've enjoyed it. It's a very simple game. And so, if you want to check out other games, if you want to be a part of like a little community that's playing these games every month, feel free to check out Volpe Creates Game Club, and you can join my Volpe Creates Discord server. But yeah, that was just going through my mind that I think we really need to make sure as an industry, as consumers, as gamers, that we are also continuously supporting smaller studios doing interesting, weird stuff, because those are the ideas that are really going to stick with you. One more tactical first-person shooter, military shooter, is probably not what's going to, it's not what you're going to be thinking about decades in the future. So whatever, just my two thoughts. I appreciate you all being here. Reminder, we do this every day at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. I broadcast it over my Twitch. We've got chat going if you want to join. And then I also have my YouTube videos. So feel free to join us. Always appreciate you being there. And I will see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful day, everybody.